Welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie Berenice, and we're continuing this series of showing you all the women in Southern California that are making a huge difference. Today, I want to introduce you to my friend April. April is the author of Nos Estan Desapareciendo. She reached out to me last year sharing her amazing book where she documents the feelings of how her community felt during the ICE raids in 2025 in Santa Ana. 40% of the proceeds of her poetry book go directly to the immigrant families impacted, and the other 60% goes in helping her support the community by offering free therapy services because she's also a therapist. If you'd like to purchase one of her books, you can do so. The link is in my description box. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe if you want to see more women in Los Angeles making a difference and how you can get involved yourself. And with that, I want to introduce you to my dear friend, April.
My name is April. I am a therapist, a poet, and an author of Nos Estan Desapareciendo. I'm also a mom. I always forget to say that, but I'm a mom. And that's probably like why I do everything that I do, is because I want to be the best example for my kids. I decided to write this collection back in June of 2025. When I started writing it wasn't meant to be published. It was a therapeutic process for me because I'm from Santa Ana, California, and in my city, the ice rate started on June 5th of 2025. I was seeing my community be completely destroyed, and people, they were in full panic mode. But not only that, they were coming, ICE was coming into our city and abducting people. I didn't know how to channel all of that frustration, and I remembered I went back to when I was little. Whenever I felt sad, whenever I felt angry, I would always write poetry. And I hadn't done it in a very long time. When the raid started, I don't know, something in me was just like, okay, like I have to write and just like let it all go. If I didn't, it would have been chaos, right? And I didn't want that to happen. So I decided to write about it, and I wrote one poem for 30 days. After that, I showed it to family, and everyone was like, wow, this is really powerful. Like, you captured what is going on in our city. They told me, put it out there, let people know about it. Because if I feel this way, other people are going to connect with it as well. They're going to feel seen, they're going to feel heard. Our stories are coming from somebody that is living it in their community. But I didn't want a white man to later come out and be like, this is what happened on June 5th, 2025, and them have no idea what it felt like. No idea of seeing your community being terrorized, of seeing your next door neighbor being abducted, seeing little kids worried about going to school and coming home and thinking their parents aren't going to be there. They can hear about it and try to feel what our community is feeling, but they'll never fully understand the extent of the horror and how badly our community is grieving right now. So I decided that a portion of the book was going to go to help immigrant families with therapy, food, any kind of aid that they might need.
As you're saying this, can you tell us a bit about you writing a poem for 30 days? What was that like as you were witnessing everything going on in the nation at that time?
It was an emotional roller coaster. I remember I wasn't sleeping. I have bipolar disorder. So whenever I begin to feel too much, my body goes into this manic state. It triggered me when I saw the first video of this old man being abducted in front of a Home Depot, with him not being able to run by somebody that didn't even chase after them because they didn't have the agility to even run towards him because they were not properly trained. That triggered me, and it created this anger inside of me that I had never felt like that in a very, very long time. I didn't sleep. It was very hard for me to eat. I was just going out in my community, driving around, seeing things happen. Not only that, but I was scrolling and scrolling to see what was happening in my community, making sure we were alerting people. And all of that was in my head and I couldn't get it out. So what I did was I had my phone and I have like these voice notes, right? And whatever I was feeling, I was just like shouting into my phone. And that's how I was creating the poetry. So it wasn't like your normal, I'm going to sit down by a computer and like type. It was more of like me doing voice memos, channeling all that rage into my phone. And I was describing what was happening to our community members. I was describing how I was feeling. I was describing the frustration. And in some of them, I was even like talking to the people that were doing this to us, kind of like asking them, like, why? You say we are freeloaders. You say we come to take your jobs, your money, your food, your land. But tell me, what are you so afraid of? When I was writing that one, I just kept thinking, it's like, you want these yard workers to come into your home. You feel so safe for them to come into your home. Make your home beautiful. Your home is your sacred place, right? You want these house cleaners to come into your home and clean your home. You trust them to leave them in there without you being in your home. You guys leave, but yet you're so afraid of them. How can you be so afraid of, or is it only because you're afraid that they're not only cleaning your houses, they're not only cutting your yards, but now their kids are becoming educated, you know? And is that what you're afraid of? You know, are you afraid that we're going to remember everything that has been done to us, where we truly belong? That this isn't just your land, but also our land? There was just some nights where I would lay in bed and I was like crying and crying because I couldn't stop thinking about me hearing that one of the neighbors was taken away and now their kids don't have a mom or dad because this person was a single parent. And now, like, what happens to their kids? And then for me personally, that kind of just like brought me back to a very like unpleasant memory of like my past. It just made me want to be a voice for them. And I said, my story was never told, but your story is going to be told.
So you said you're from Santana.
Mm-hmm.
This was June
5th.
2025,
Mm.
correct? What was happening in Santana at this time?
On June 5th, we started with ICE arriving to Santana and they started going after our yard workers. They started showing up at the Home Depots. On June 6th, we had a protest. City council members going and protesting, just like two of them that I can recall. One of them, his name was Jonathan Hernandez, and he was harassed by the police department. In Santana, the police says that they did not cooperate with ICE, but cooperation doesn't necessarily mean that you're standing in the front lines with them, right? Cooperation also means that if you're not doing anything to stop them, you're corroborating with them, right? Because you're not doing anything to protect your constituents, how they say. You're not doing anything to protect the people. So who are you really with if you're not protecting the people? We're supposed to be a sanctuary city, so what the hell is ICE doing in a sanctuary city? Right away, our mayor said, you guys need to stand down. Yeah, you need to stand down. Make yourself not be visible. What kind of mayor says that? What kind of mayor says that in a city that is a sanctuary city? This should have been a moment where she came out and said, ICE, you are not welcome here. That's exactly what she should have came out and said, but she didn't. There was a lot going on. Not only were people now terrified, but now we didn't have a government that was protecting us. Everyone just didn't know what to do in that moment. But now came together, a lot of beautiful people helping out the community, and they have watch groups. They're trying their best right now to make sure the community is being protected. So I was actually doing everything on my own. I didn't have a community at that time. I would just follow them on social media, go to where they were at, tell ICE to get out of there. Anything that came that I wrote in the book that came from my neighbors, it was because I live in that neighborhood. And my grandma, she's my next door neighbor. And so a lot of the older generations, they all come and they talk to my grandma. And then my grandma would be like, oh, this is my granddaughter. She speaks English and Spanish. She can help you fill out whatever documents you need. So she's kind of like the one that introduced me into what was going on with everybody else in the community.
Well, thank you. So let's go back to this book. How was the process of deciding to turn this into a book? I know you mentioned having some challenges with that. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
When I first decided that I was going to publish it, I started looking into like, okay, how do you publish a book? Who do you need to go through? Like, do I need to have an agent? It was so overwhelming. I found out that I did need an agent, that I did need a marketing team, that I did need all of these things. But I decided to look into small publishing companies. And during that time, I ended up finding a small publishing company. They were very supportive of the book at first. Once they started reading more into it, they wanted me to change a couple of things. They knew it was a political book, but when I started talking about the police, how they're cowards wrapped in law, that was challenging for them. I don't want to assume, but I think it was because of their political beliefs, their stance with the police department. There were some things that they were not too accepting of. They wanted to change the language to some of the poems, and I wasn't okay with that because that's how I felt. This collection was about me channeling all of that rage and frustration and truth. It wasn't sugar-coated, and I didn't want them to sugarcoat it.
How did you navigate that?
Oh, I just said, okay, well, no, thank you. We're not a good fit. And then I decided to look into self-publishing. Oh man, this is going to be really complicated. But I ended up finding everything that I needed like within that week. This isn't as hard as I thought it was. I had to jump a couple of hoops, but I can do it. I just did a lot of research and eventually I figured out how to do it.
Can you please read a portion of your book?
I remember, so this one is called Coward Wrapped in Law. You say we are freeloaders. You say we come to take your jobs, your money, your food, your land. But tell me, what are you so afraid of? Afraid we remember whose land this really was? Afraid that behind your badge, your title, your borders, you are nothing more than a coward wrapped in law? You take children from mothers like peeling skin from bone in the open sun as if daylight made it moral. With an audience of ghosts, too paperless to speak, too human to look away. What are you so afraid of? That we are getting stronger? That we speak more languages than you care to understand? That we are rising, brown hands, tired backs, still building what you live inside of? You detain us at construction sites, but you can never climb the homes we raise. You can never carry the beams we've hoisted with blistered palms. You expect us to build your homes while you destroy our own. You expect us to clean your houses while you raid ours. You expect us to care for your children while ours learn trauma by name before they could even spell their own. Have you ever felt what it's like to choke on fear? To hear footsteps and pray they pass? To press your child's face into your chest so they don't see you being abducted like garbage off the street? Have you ever tasted the kind of silence that follows an ice fan? The kind that seeps into walls, into pillows, into prayers? Do you know how fast the heart races when you're just trying to bring home dinner and the shadows come for you instead? Now, your fear is not of us, it is of what we represent. We are the proof that this country was built by those it hates. We are the labor you pretend not to see. We are the voices you try to erase, but only made louder. Now, you call us illegal, but you don't see the desperation that floods our lungs, the way our hearts carry centuries of silence and sacrifice. So I ask again, what are you so afraid of? That we love this land even when it hunts us? That we carry dignity even in cages? That we survive you? Now you call us a threat, but the truth is, you're just afraid of being seen for who you are. And we were never the danger. We were just trying to make it home.
Wow. Wow. Shout out to everybody on the live who's watching. Somebody quoted, "This country is built by those it hates."
Yeah.
We belong to this land. They think it's backwards. Yeah. Can you share with us the moment like that you wrote this or that you spoke this into a voice note?
Not only am I a therapist and a writer, but I also clean houses. And I clean houses for very wealthy communities in Orange County. I walk into those homes every single day. And their troubles are, why are you 5-10 minutes late to my house? Man, our construction is going to be delayed because now our construction workers aren't showing up, you know?
Minuscule.
Or I have to cancel my trip now.
An inconvenience.
An inconvenience. And at that time when I was writing the book, when I was going into these homes, it was a lot. I was in those houses hearing about my community, how they were being terrorized. And I'm over here in Newport Beach. I'm over here in Laguna Beach. I'm over here in Irvine. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm in these homes. I'm cleaning your house right now while my people are being terrorized in the streets and I can't do anything about it because I'm here servicing you. And yet you have so much to say about my community, how we shouldn't be here, how they should have came the right way, how they don't belong here. And it's funny because all of these people, they all wear the red hats. And it's very troubling because it's like how I said, you expect us to build your homes. You expect us to clean your houses.
You want
and
us
you
to service you.
expect us to raise your children. But yet you don't want us here.
Solo para lo que te conviene.
You know, and like I tell people, is we are not their cheap labor. So that's kind of where that poem came from. It's me trying to say, like, look, you need us in every form for your day to function, for you to even just be able to exist with everything that you have. You need us in your service.
Being aware of all of this, sometimes I wonder if ignorance is bliss, because when you don't see it, you're not aware of it. It's just I wonder if it's easier. But with you having all this awareness, working multiple jobs, right? You're servicing folks that are clearly supporting this orange asshole and this administration.
Yeah.
And you're constantly being of assistance. So how are you taking care of yourself?
I decided to take off my mask a while back in order for me to be able to fully heal from all of this. I need to be able to show them the best version of myself. What I try to do is I get a kick out of educating people, and that is healing for me. If I know that I planted something in your brain that is now going to make you go and think about this, research this, and find your humanity, that is the best way for me to take care of myself. But that also means that when the house is quiet, because I do have kids, I let myself be loved. I let myself be loved by my husband, just cry. I love telling this to Bede all the time. I love letting myself feel my emotions. If I'm feeling sad, I'm just going to let myself be sad and I'm going to wallow in that sadness and I'm going to cry. If I feel pissed off, I'm going to write about it. I'm going to tell my husband, I'm going to vent, and I'm going to scream. I don't care what people say. Scream the shit out of everything you are feeling. We are living in a moment in life where everything is not normal. The more you treat it like it's normal, the more complicit you are becoming to everything that is happening. So allow yourself to feel. And that's what I want people to know, is that it's okay to feel. If you're feeling angry, feel it. Feel that anger and then channel it into something. But allow yourself to also have some joy.
How old are your children?
So I have a 13-year-old, and then I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Okay. How are you navigating this with them together? What do those conversations look like, or what are they asking you?
It's interesting because they ask and they don't ask. It's kind of embarrassing to say, but I think I have sheltered them and protected them enough from the world that they are privileged enough to not have to see it and hear it every day. But they have become curious. The two little ones have become curious because they'll come home from school and they'll say, hey, my friend was sad because their mom was crying because they're scared. And they say that they're coming for brown people. That's my 5-year-old saying that. The 3-year-old, he's just like, whoa, who's sad? Why are they sad? And so he's trying to understand what is even happening in the world, like feelings, right? The 13-year-old, he's a little genius, so I don't have to explain things to him. He's very good about researching. He's really good about advocating for himself. He's very good about knowing what social justice is, which is kind of interesting because when all of this did happen, he actually ended up making an app called Sin Migra, and it was to locate where ICE was at.
I think I heard about them.
Yeah, and it was to locate where ICE was at. he ended up getting a letter from Apple, and he ended up getting a letter from the
Wow.
government saying that it was going to be blocked. That the app is still going to be on the Apple store, but he can't edit it and people can't actually fully use it in its fullest function, right? He's pretty bummed out about that, but he's trying to channel all of his sadness, because to him it's very sad what's happening to us, all of his sadness into being an advocate.
And we do need technology advocates.
Yeah, so that's what he does.
Amazing. Where can we find your book?
Oh, yeah, so you can find my book on my website. It's nosestanddesapareciendo.com, or you can find it on my Instagram. The link is in my bio. Again, my Instagram, Nos Estan Desapareciendo. It's just the title of the book. But yeah, so 40% of the profits go to help immigrant families so they can receive free counseling, or we can help contribute to their legal aid. We can help contribute to anything that they might be needing in that moment. And then the other 60%, it helps sustain myself so I can go ahead and give free therapy to anybody that's been affected by the ICE raids, as I am a therapist as well.
How do you take care of yourself? Because you're so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Really quick, you also said you had some like 5 available spots, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so for you taking 5 more new clients, right?
That's right. So right now I am taking 5 new clients. So if you want to go ahead and, have somebody that's able to connect with you on a level that knows and feels and understands what you are going through, I can totally be that person for you. Because I know it's really hard. Therapy, first of all, is scary when you walk into it, right? But having somebody that is going to be able to connect with you and understand you, it's just super important right now to have. Sorry.
Okay. It's all
I
right.
get like really emotional when I talk about people's mental health, but it's hard because we are expected to carry so much and just not break down and keep carrying on with our lives. And I think us in the Hispanic community, we're so used to like, okay, you're going to be pushed down, you're going to be kicked down and everything, but you still got to rise up in the morning, go to work, be belittled by the people that you're working for, come home, put on that smiling face, be there for your family. So trust me, I know what it is to be feeling what you are feeling right now, and I can totally help you navigate it. Direct message me on Nos Estan Desapareciendo, and then on my website, I actually have a contact form, and you can go to my contact form and just say, hey, looking for a therapist, and I can go ahead and email you back after that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Gracias, gracias, gracias.